You are listening to The Michael Batson Show. Lamar Jackson, this is taking a while, right? And on The Michael Batson Show on 88.1 FM, we've talked a lot about Lamar Jackson, but we've held off in the last few days and few weeks because there's not much going on. This is a situation that is going slow, to say the least, and I think a lot of people thought so. I think a lot of people thought, like me, that this was going to be a very slow process. This was not Aaron Rodgers, where it needs to be quick. The Packers weren't saying we need a decision now, Aaron. Right? The Jets weren't trading all their pieces. Aaron Rodgers wasn't. Lamar Jackson wasn't making a wish list like Aaron Rodgers. This is a very slow process that Lamar Jackson is going. And why does nobody seem interested? He's a great quarterback, right? And he's such a good quarterback, and you're asking, why isn't anyone interested? The Ravens don't want to sign him. This is a guy who's been an MVP, Pro Bowler, Heisman Trophy winner, elite athleticism, but the Ravens don't want to sign him. Teams don't have any interest trading for him. Why is this happening? Because he's not a bad quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. Why is this happening? I will give you the answer on the Michael Batson Show, 88.1 FM, the voice of New Trier. Well, the reason why, there's two reasons. And the first reason is not many people are thinking about this and putting it into a discussion of Lamar Jackson, and when they think of the contract and how it's working, is that Lamar doesn't have an agent. And this is big. Lamar Jackson does not have an agent. And Lamar doesn't have a guy or a woman in a suit helping him. He's all for himself. So this is why it's a slow-moving process. And I think if he had an agent, the agent would likely say, hey, Lamar, you're a great quarterback, but guaranteed contracts don't happen much. Let's not forget that the only QB that has a guaranteed contract in the NFL is Deshaun Watson. Why? Because the Browns wanted him so much to come back to the NFL after serving a suspension. If Mahomes doesn't have one, if Josh Allen doesn't have one, Lamar Jackson probably will not get a fully guaranteed contract. And because he has no help, he has no expertise, he doesn't have, again, a man or a woman in a suit that knows stuff about this, he just thinks he could get a fully guaranteed contract, and he probably can. And also, I think the little things, like the media, I think Lamar Jackson haven't been putting out statements. There's been no talks between the Ravens and Lamar. All the little things would be taken care of by an agent. He'd make Lamar have a statement every week. He'd make Lamar keep in contact with the Ravens. All this little stuff, too, of just keeping good relationships and being in the spotlight, because that's what you want to do when you want a lot of money. You try to be in the spotlight, an agent would help with. An agent's not there. So the only real kind of future talks we're getting from Lamar is on his Instagram Live or Instagram stories, where he just kind of puts one-sentence answers of stuff that got put out by Twitter of Adam Schefter. We're not getting any real talks, and I think that's because he doesn't have an agent. And I think if an agent was there, he doesn't want a fully guaranteed contract. But he's looking at Deshaun and he's saying, I've done more. I've been with my team now for, 5 years. I don't think he's going to get it. But then you say, Michael, there has to be more than that, right? Lamar is a very good quarterback. And even though he wants a fully guaranteed contract, that it might be crazy, teams have to still be interested. Why aren't teams interested? That can't be the only reason, because he doesn't have an agent telling him what to do. Well, it's not. And I think if you, let's say, are an offense coordinator for a team trying to get Lamar Jackson, imagine you go to the coordinator and you say, we're going to get Lamar. And he says, great. And the coach says, and the front office says, well, one thing, we might have to change identity and scheme, and we don't really know if he could pass. And you're saying, wait, what? So what's going on now? Are we actually going to get him? Is this a joke? Because I don't want to act like this is a joke, but there's a very real reason why teams aren't interested. And it's because Lamar needs the Ravens more than the Ravens need Lamar. I said it. I said Lamar needs the Ravens more than the Ravens need Lamar Jackson, the QB Heisman Trophy winner from Louisville. Because the fact of the matter is that, I guess, the Ravens changed their whole identity for Lamar, and Lamar has been reaping the benefits. There is no other NFL team in the league that runs a similar scheme, runs as many runs with the QB, and has as many guys who could block for Lamar Jackson. It's just not even a same ballpark as any other identity in the NFL. And Ravens have been very open to creating this new offense ever since 2018 when Lamar Jackson came to Baltimore. Well, when most teams, if they're interested in Lamar Jackson, they're going to say, Lamar, we need you to play our way. We need you to throw the football and be a real quarterback. And Lamar has been spoiled by Harbaugh and the front office, basically giving him what he wants and giving him an offense where he could shine, which is a very, very specific offense where Lamar Jackson gets to run it. There's no other offense in the league. It's a RPO, it's a run, option, pass, maybe. It's that kind of offense. And not many teams would just switch around their offense and change their identity because Lamar comes. They'll say, Lamar, you haven't done as much, right? You're not amazing, or at least you haven't shown it since 2019. You need to play by our rules, so you need to play in our offense. The Ravens gave an offense to Lamar. Not many teams would do that, and I don't think not many teams want to change their identity, change their offense, and drastically do it to get Lamar Jackson, right? And it's one thing if you say, okay, well, we know he could throw, right? If we change the offense, we make him throw, at least we know he could throw. He could be successful. And that's the other point. Lamar Jackson, I would say, has very little confidence, and the Ravens do that he could throw. Since 2019, he's never had a 3,000-yard season through the air. He makes a lot of mistakes, and he throws a lot of interceptions. And I will say this, that the Ravens aren't making him throw. But since 2019, when he's tried to throw it more, and he's stopped running, I think it hasn't been as successful. And back in 2019, you look, and Lamar Jackson ran the ball and had the most running attempts, the most in his 5 years so far in his career. He also had the most throwing yards. He won the MVP. The Ravens said, that's great. Now let's try to limit the times you run it, and let's try to make you a full QB. Let's try to make you a quarterback, right? Not a runner, not a running back. And they slowly tried to change offense where Lamar was more of a pocket passer. In 2019, they signed Marquise Brown, right? A wide receiver one. They also got Mark Andrews, a tight end one. And once he stopped running the ball, his attempts went down, so did his throwing. He became skeptical. He didn't become confident. He made more mistakes. He fumbled the ball more. He took more sacks, and he just didn't throw as many touchdowns and didn't have as many yards. He didn't reach the 3,000-yard mark after his running attempts went down. And also, Marquise Brown, the guy when they tried to bring a wide receiver one in, he only averaged 888 yards and 74 receptions in the 2 seasons he was there. Lamar just isn't confident enough to throw. And that's a big thing. So if you're going to an offensive coach and you're saying that, well, Lamar's good, but hold on a sec, we have to change the offense. We have to get new players too, because the players in the Ravens system know how to block. The receivers block more than catch. You got to find new players. You got to find wide receivers who want to block. And also, you're going to change the whole identity because Lamar Jackson hasn't really shown he's thrown. Because since the years that they've tried to limit the running and make him more of a pocket passer, we've seen drastically worse numbers as when he ran the ball, like in 2019. So that's why teams are skeptical of having him, and it's a very good reason. And then also you look at the off-the-field issues, and you also look at how he's injured, and it all stacks up, and you say, how much for Lamar athleticism can even out with the mistakes and the problems he brings. He brings team problems. He brings locker room problems. He brings injuries. When he brings his crew, he needs people who could block. He needs a new identity. And all this for a guy who haven't really shown he could throw, right? He doesn't have an agent. So it's not like, the Ravens are making a mistake, or it's crazy that other teams aren't into him. If you stack it up as I've done in the last 10 and a half exactly that minutes, there's a lot of problems, and there's a lot of money, and there's a lot of commitment that goes into getting Lamar Jackson. It's just that. And teams are very hesitant to get him because of those issues. So Lamar Jackson, I think this will be a deal or a trade that doesn't get done for a while, maybe even the day till spring camp. He doesn't have an agent, and there's a lot of commitment that needs to go to get him. Need a new identity and new guys. It's crazy, right? And there's definitely reasons why teams aren't getting him. It's a lot of work to get Lamar Jackson.